Hey, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Reed, has DOD done its own background investigations and work before and then handed that back over to the whole of government?
Yes, sir. Prior to 2005, we had responsibility for our background investigations at what's now the Defense Security Service, sir.
So what's the lesson learned there? So why is this time going to be better? Because last time it was turned over and then now it's coming back. Give me the key lessons learned.
So Mr. Payne touched on one of those, sir, and that is having a comprehensive process in place to deal with the volume and the scale of investigative items. The continuous evaluation tools that we have now are different. The risk rating and automated records checks, additional tools that we're developing to streamline the submission process within the department. If you look at the current process and you look at past practice, there's a high percentage of drag in the system between submission and investigation just to get the submission clean and get all the data. Well, we have tools in place already to improve upon that. I talked about the streamlined background investigations and then the centrality and the positioning of our consolidated adjudications facility, which did not exist at that time either. So we have in place, or we will have in place when we move investigations back, all three pieces of this enterprise: submissions, investigations, and adjudications, all under a single organization with the authority and the resources and the mission focus. And I would just say currently, sir, Deputy Secretary Shanahan, the #1 reform agenda for him is this clearance reform. Secretary Mattis, firmly, actively involved in pushing us to better solutions and to make this functionality not a back office thing that someone does in the department, not an administrative thing, but the security focus that exists in the leadership team now. I can't say what it was in 2005. It could not be any higher today, and we have the pieces aligned to put this into action.
So give me two goals that are the nickels and noses type goals here. Will this drive down cost? And will this speed up the process?
Yes and yes.
Give me a ballpark of what that means.
In terms of speeding the process, again, current timelines, we're experiencing 150 or so days for a secret level reinvestigation. We will eliminate that requirement completely. So there's a time improvement there. Current background investigation, field activities, field work, our studies and our pilots and everything we've put into place now, using aggregated data tools that I've talked about, can get us 90% of everything we're getting now from a field investigation on the front end, and then the tools can focus us on the last 10%. We will still have to go out and do some field work, but 90% of the field work can be handled through automated processes. So that will drive down the capacity needed to do those field investigations, and therefore drive down the cost per unit that we currently provide to OPM.
Right, and you had said first-time approval is still at 150 days. It's still your assumption. First time, new person, new hire.
That's the reinvestigation, but currently it's about the same for the initial secret, at the secret level.
And you assume it's going to still stay that 150 days?
Pardon me, sir?
You assume it'll still stay 150 days. That currently it's 150 days. You assume when you transition it over, it will still be 150 days for a first-time hire, brand new investigation.
No, sir. No, that's the current standard.
Right.
I don't know today how fast we'll be able to do a secret. My anticipation is it can be done in a matter of days. There's processes in place now to gain access to certain programs and facilities, even here in the D.C. area, that run a series of automated checks that are very thorough. And it takes 20 minutes. I don't know that we're going to be at 20 minutes. Right. And you always are going to have things you have to go check.
I'm back to the chairman's question when he talked about the 22-year-old. When he asked you specifically on that, how long it's going to take, that's when you gave him the answer of the 150 days. So I'm trying to be able to line this up.
That's the current standard, sir. I apologize.
Okay. All right. So you're thinking it's not going to be 150 days. It could be a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. At the secret level, absolutely. No reason why that can't be.
Okay. Mr. Payne, you concur on that?
I do. I think some of the things that we have in place right now, again, as Mr. Reed outlined, using continuous evaluation. Maybe I want to finesse that a little bit. Continuous evaluation as opposed to continuous vetting. So continuous evaluation, a program set up by the DNI, is designed to look at the risk in between periods of reinvestigation. When we talk about and they have seven data sources that they're requiring every agency to utilize when they do continuous evaluation. When I talk about continuous vetting, I'm looking at expanding that into other data sources within DoD, other data sources within the U.S. government, other data sources within the public sector, that we can pull all those things together, many of which are required already for the secret level reinvestigations, and do those on a continuous basis. And if we're doing those things on a continuous basis, there is no need to do a reinvestigation on someone at the secret level unless you come up with derogatory information. So that's where the significant savings is going to be.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.